Coast Guard. In 5 minutes, we're going to demonstrate what we call an Alaska Joint Forces demonstration. 4 hours, putting together all our intelligence, putting together our tactics, our plan to fight on the ground and fight with our advanced weapons. There's one thing, one principle of warfare that you the Knights exiting that 130 earlier. They have opened the priority targets. Gamecocks from the 19th Fighter Squadron rolling onto the runway. We're going to listen as these jets are going to push up the power on those Pratt & Whitney 220 engines, producing over 40,000 pounds of thrust. We're going to suck water off the runway. We're going to blow steam out the back. Leading today's formation is the runway's clear. It's time to go. Take the fight to the skies. Would be the first of our strikers from the 90th Fighter Squadron, Diceman. That I went to ROTC with about 15 years ago. The Air Force is also firing added to the Alaska anyway. The Strike Eagles will be loaded up in pairs of 4 or 8 or 12, depending how many targets we have to hit. They combine that with ground control radars or airborne AWACS aircraft operated by the look of those radars, 360 degrees, well over 150 miles. Intercept to be able to arrive at a position of advantage. Clear under the cover of the surface to air command and control modes that we've identified. Dropping GPS-guided bombs that have the capability to penetrate with 3 feet of accuracy, even through cloudy weather like this. We can make very pain those air-to-air kills. Now that our F-16s have hit the target, they still have their missiles, maybe a few extra bombs left, and they can go into a mode like we call time-sensitive before they need to go back to the tanker to refuel. Oh, we got the troops on the ground scrambling. Our tactical air control team has realized we need to get in up close and personal and take care of some anti-personnel and some tanks that are rolling through the terrain and the trees up to the north. Look off to the left where 18 Warthog is showing up to do the job. With the ability to loiter for over an hour right over the battlefield and maneuver in tight, low weather conditions like this, he has right down the front of that aircraft is the largest, but echoed it over a mile. He can fire it with depleted uranium high explosive shells, destroying tanks with a single bullet. Fire here. We've got a landing zone established thanks to the guidance and defensive operations of our tactical control team. We call in the Firebirds. You notice the ramp is down at our C-130. We need to put a little more armament, a little more equipment on the ground. There's no better, safer, quicker way to do that than with the container delivery system. Let's watch. The ramp's down. We're going to look for the loadmasters to deploy a variety of bundles out the back, parachute right and into the drop zone. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 good shoots backed by the air mobility folks. Time-sensitive targeting. Look to the left. We've sent out a 9-line of information, and our next 2 interdiction fighters are going to come in, pick out a few targets of opportunity. part of our air show. We wish him well and Godspeed. We hope they're home safe. And right now, our C-130 is coming in to show how he can deliver troops onto the ground. Our C-130 would penetrate into the airfield lower, avoiding any air threat was detected. They could tell the C-130 to bug out safely to the west. Let it know when the air threat has been eliminated, then call that 130 right back in. The key to air power is that flexibility that no other country in the U.S. possesses so well. Now let's watch as we slow this C-130 for the Firebirds down. Demonstrate just how quickly, in short distance, we can get this airplane stopped, offloaded, and back airborne again. Here today being flown by Captain Darren Bacon and Captain Marty Armentrout from the 517. Watch as we touch down. We're going to take the 4 fans of freedom, put the propellers in reverse thrust, full power, max anti-skid braking, and quickly come to a stop. Miles behind the scene, our military leaders in an air operations center would be the command and control headquarters that is orchestrating this entire series. F-15Es and F-16s have established communications with the fighters high overhead. Once his position was pinpointed, the Eagles would continue a point defense of that exact airspace. We would call back in the A once there was established a landing zone to rescue that downed pilot. The PJs, basically special operations paramedics, would be willing to parachute or rappel out of the helicopters, treat that pilot, hook him onto a hoist underneath the helicopter, and sling load him out as necessary. Of course, they couldn't do that with the heli. Be able to refuel the helicopters in flight, extending their range and allowing for those deep penetration rescue operations that sometimes aren't necessary. The helicopter is flying at nearly its maximum forward. Our 2 drones deployed. They actually have the capability to combat deployment operation. A Code 1 aircraft is full up. There's nothing wrong with it. All we need to do is put more bombs, a new flight crew in it, new fuel, and launch it again. If you have some minor things wrong with your airplane, you would be calling it Code 2. This is stuff that's not going to prevent you from flying combat, but maybe it's just not a full-up airplane. And now let's watch the helicopter moving in, showing that minimum separation right there, and they're not even hooked up yet. 2 feet away. basking in the rotor blades. Of course, our HH-60s here at Kula. The aircraft is safely gotten home, and that may be a 4-hour trip again with refueling with battle-damaged, combat-weary pilots. They will recover just as we have the first of our Eagles coming up initial here today. The initial, of course, the guys maintaining it, loading them up. The finance folks, there are thousands of jobs. Everyone is crucial as the pilot strapped into that jet. Without any of them, the Air Force, the Navy, the Marines, and the Army could not be the great defense forces that we are today. Behind him, allow how we can get this entire strike package right. But Viper 2 got himself a MiG-29 on the egress, proving that multi-role capability. They may have taken some key mission planners out to the carrier on one of those pods to allow to plan a joint Navy-Marine Corps mission with Air Force assets. And now as you look to your left, you see how the C-130s are joining this show ride on the static line. You can get a good up-close look at the rescue HH-60s we talk about. And of course, our Coast Guard brethren are here with their rescue choppers as well. Here, right by the tower, you see not one, but two of the beautiful CF-18s from the Canadian Air Force. In addition to today's air crews, I'd like to have you put your hands together for our pyro displays out there. Rich's incredible pyro is fired. At about 135 knots, smoothly kissing the asphalt runway here on 06. Watch the pilots will raise the nose of that airplane, the speed brake deployed, and we'll use the large shape of the eagle held in that nose-high attitude to aerodynamically slow the airplane down before applying the brakes. Nose about 100 knots, he'll start to apply the brakes. Using the anti-skid system, maximizing the braking. This runway here gets quite slick when it's wet. started this training.